Oh, Zombie Up. I just looked at the bracket during the load screen. There's so many good matches coming up. I really want to see Parting versus True. I want to see Innovation versus Bunny. I want to see Sockstreet versus Yoda. Oh, Heart versus Curious. This is getting so sexy. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you go to the brackets on the ESL website and check out everything for yourselves, because there's so many good games playing out right now. But getting into this, spawning in the top left corner of the map, we have Axiom's Pink, Terran player Ryung.
In the bottom left has the Teal Zerg, DongRaeGu.
So again, to explain the whole global qualifier for the World Championship Series, if, let's say, DRG loses this series, and he gets knocked out of the tournament, there is still one more chance for him through the European qualifiers. Now that's going to be the worst case for him, because it means he has to actually play on the European server against European players who actually are not that bad for foreigners. In fact, a lot of European players are quite good. But still, it's not a situation you want to be in. Taking it through the Korean qualifiers is definitely the best bet for a lot of these folks, but oh, it's a rough ride the whole way through.
Yeah, it is. And not to mention, like, most of these guys have been up for a very long time. These two guys have not been. Wait, was Ryung in the NA qualifier?
Pardon me?
Not cast. Was Ryung in the NA qualifier?
I know a lot of the Axiom guys were. I just assumed Ryung
Really?
was. I don't actually know off the top of my head, to be honest.
Yeah, we just paid attention really to Heart being in there. Oh well, but some of them were up in the NA qualifiers and have been up for a very long time, and some have not, and they're a little bit better for going into the European qualifiers as well. But that is a long day of playing StarCraft. Especially for guys for like Terminator, right? Where he goes to the semifinals.
I know.
And
That's got to be killer. To lose at the semifinals. There's no benefit to the next one. I mean, you just got to start from scratch again.
Yep, that's a bummer. And he has already lost out in this one, so I really don't know how many considered this their last chance or the EU qualifier the last chance.
I think it's gonna be tough. We see some players who'll go to the EU server, but most of the time it feels like it's Zer, you know, Hyun or Revival or whoever. But man, I don't know, Zombie Grub.
You don't know about life? It's okay, none of us do.
Well, no, actually, I know a lot about life. Best Zerg player ever.
Oh, I staged it there.
Man, well, for DRG, what's crazy about that? No ban links necessary to kill Ryung in that last game. I thought Ryung had a pretty good handle on things. I thought with the armory up, he would have been no problem to hold, but oh, this time around, Deadwing is a map that he's gonna have to use to his advantage. I would love to see us go to map 3.
The hellbats last game, they killed a third, and that's cool, that's great, but it was just a cancel on a third, and sometimes that seems to matter less than you would think, losing a third like that. If it's done, if it's mining, if you were depending on that because that was your build, that really sucks. But DRG had already gotten kind of a later third anyways, and he was getting up to roaches, so that option to attack was there, as opposed to if you just had plain old speedlings.
Yeah, I mean,
We also have that Roach Warren again, but Ryung is going to go for another Hellbat push.
This is a much earlier Roach Horde, too. Now, here's the thing for Ryung, though. If the Hellbats hit early enough, the Roaches might not actually be so comfortable to move across the map, but they may have to actually stay at home and defend. And for that sake, that might buy Ryung a lot of time to get a tank out. It's a big map. It's Deadwing, after all. But it's so unlikely that would be the case.
Oh. I was going to say it is Deadwing, and we could have seen the tank drop as Ryung was... Well, he's probably the most infamous for it because he was the one that died to the All-In behind it. But that's another whatever. But he's not going for it. He went for the Hellions.
Oh yeah, that was that same map. But he's gonna only Hellions with the Banshee. This is what I think is gonna be pretty key, because there's one thing that's gonna shut the Roaches down, it'll be the Banshee, but it's gonna be so long till that Banshee's out. This bunker is going to have to hold. Now this is not a lot of Roaches here initially, and I think SCV's pre-pulled would be fine, but Ryung has no idea this is coming in. But frankly, he's only got like one Marine for defense. Zombie Grub, is this really?
It's not even a wall, is it?
I don't
not
think
for, like,
so.
Lings.
Is this how it ends?
That's weird. That might be better, though, because the SCVs have just a little bit more of a surround on the bunker.
You're not incorrect about that statement. There's just not a lot of damage here, though, and the SCVs are getting shredded. Banshee is on the way, but it just feels like it's gonna be forever till it's actually out.
It's not so bad. I mean, this is an attack that's designed to get the SCVs that are repairing, you know? If you're able to see this coming a mile away, sure, you might have a Marauder in there, and you lose only 2 SCVs. But even if he loses 10 here, the Banshee could do some return damage, and he is on 3cc, and he has already lost 12.
That's actually pretty cute. He didn't have the 3cc being a pretty bad spell, but it's not exactly an orbital yet. Hellions are still alive, surprisingly, through this.
Mm-hmm. Of course, DRG to give up a third to do this attack,
Banshee,
so it's not all bad.
Yo, that's the thing, right? The Hellion Banshee counterattack could kill DRG.
Maybe. He doesn't have any gas. Ooh, he doesn't have any gas. Usually, you know, making a couple more roaches is no problem, but he never got speed. Ooh, this could be a problem. More queens is his best bet. It's the only thing he can make right now. And he needs it against the Banshee.
Well, Ryung, sticking around home for another moment or two. He lost 19 workers to this attack, though. That's hard to deal with.
That's more than you want to take from that attack. It's like 10 below, and you're pretty darn good. 15's little like, but 19's pretty hefty. Where did that Banshee go? Up there it is. The Banshee is finally on its way across the map. There are Spore Crawlers ready and a lot of Queens, but you can start targeting down that hatchery, at least get a little bit lower. Well, the Banshee decided to go for the hatchery, and fortunately there was a lair. That's where all the gas for DG went into. And the Hellions did not really pair up with this attack as fast as I expected, so there's definitely enough money to get a couple of units out. And in fact, there's no drones at the third, but of roasts anyways. Okay, they get the one that's at the third. Good job, guys. Go back home.
Mission accomplished. America! Fuck yeah!
Say so.
Alright, so actually, as silly as that was, the threat's still present that there's a lot of Hellions that could run in there and kill his drones.
Oh. He thinks it's gonna be roaches, like all roaches again, like last game. But this time DG's were doing what I expected, which is a transition last game. And so as such, the tanks will not be that beneficial. I mean, basically, you can try and just go tanks. Although I think everyone's just agreed that it's not as good as Widow Mines. But you have to really go tanks. You can't just be like, oh, I have 4 tanks, let me try and push out here. Because that's usually not going to work. You know, double factory tanks, Bomber tried to do that. And it's been effective, but that was like almost a year ago at this point.
Correct me if I'm wrong, won't tanks get stuck in here at that factory, depending on where they spawn?
No, they can still fit from the tech lab and the barracks.
Oh yeah, I guess you go at the bottom side. I'm just looking at the top, my bad. Okay, so we got the Spire on the way for DRG. While he opened with roaches, he's still playing this pretty standard behind it. I love this 4th base coming down. He's taking it on the rocks as well. Gonna get that mobility going, and while Ryung did take a 3rd CC very early, he's not been able to get, well, much use from it, sadly. And now that his opponent's starting to invest into the Mutalisks, it's going to be really hard to defend this 3rd, no matter where he takes it.
Yeah. Oh, what is the scouting being like? Still not so good. The creep spread. Okay, you need to calm down on the creep tumors right there, DongRaeGu. I think that's enough.
I don't know. I could use probably about 11 or 40 more.
Yeah, I mean, he's already at what? Some structure tabs. He's already at 37, so double that and he'd be good. Oh, but seriously, like it's only adding so much creep, like faster creep spread the more creep tumors you put down.
He wants to make sure it takes the entire duration of the scan to clean up the creep tumors. Okay.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
He doesn't. He doesn't want Ryung just walking around all willy nilly like he likes.
Well, speaking, I guess, of Ryung, we should just evaluate what his position looks like here. And despite being on 3cc, I expect him to have more SCVs here. He has stopped SCV production, you know, once or twice in this game, and now down to 39. Where I really with how long he's had, I thought he would be up to a normal-ish amounts, like 60 or 55.
No turrets down. This was bad predictions, like I said, of Ryung. I mean, really should have had an idea at least that this was coming, but
tanks.
Yo, it's not just the tanks. The tanks and the Banshees in good positions could work out really well here. Let's not forget, this base was taken at a pretty craptastic spot. And if the tanks siege up on the low ground, there's no way Zerglings and Banelings get on top of it. If the Marines cover in from the Mutalisks, they should be okay.
I still don't have much faith in them. They're going to have to do a lot. And the Mutas are going to be looking for constant snipes here. But actually, DRG just was in before the snipes can go down, and it still cleans it up.
Yeah. There was some pretty good focus fire from those tanks, too, on the Banelings. But, you know, there's a lot of Marines coming in from that reinforcement. That rally across the map is looking good, and all those Banelings were used up. There's 2 more on the way. Ryung, though, is backing off, and I don't think that's the right choice right now.
Well, he's running out of abusable units in these positions. Like, the Banshees are, I think, the best thing. Like, the tank is no longer, like, one tank doesn't really help you out that much.
Yeah, it's too far away to really hit much other than the Banelings. Anyways, the problem is with that Carapace upgrade, they can't even kill the Lings, so only Banelings are the real option here, and it does go down pretty quickly. Ryung going to give up his position here on this side of the map, although the rally of units might still work out quite well. The Roaches are segmented to the south, and Mutalisks trying to get focused down, but so many Zerglings in his face. Good game's going to be called, and we will sadly see Ryung fall, but we will celebrate the victory of DRG.